Canadians trying to stay in it.
It's got to move.
Not going to be enough. Frustration for the Canadians. And the South Koreans all over Canada.
Yeah.
Too strong. And it is going to be enough for 4. Big end for Slovakia.
It's got to move.
It's going to come up short, and it's not enough. Hard break for the Canadians. Thurston hits but rolls out. And it is Great Britain on the board first with a steal of 1. Trying to get on the board. And this is going to slip too far. A second steal for Great Britain.
Here's where you want that second throw.
Brandon moving, and he's got it.
Wow.
Big shot from Thurston.
That's got to feel good for John. Sometimes it just takes a shot like that to turn things around.
Hit and roll under cover.
Shot.
And a big Canadian win. Snapping out of the 3-game slide. Not an easy shot. And this time he's got it.
Great shot.
Big shot from Thurston. The finish. Biting the button. Run back won't go. And that's it. Handshakes.
They really did need that.
Curling now enters the Sports Weekend spotlight.
What a roller coaster. Yeah, how do you spell relief? Outstanding.
It's so nerve-wracking to watch, Devin. Did you notice I'm matching my CBC mug today? Mustard.
You are on point. Hi again, curling fans. Wonderful to see you, and welcome back inside the Ice Cube. Hello to you, Call. You're by the fire tonight.
I am by the fireside chat with Colleen. I'll tell you, as I look at the standings, Devin, let's get right at it because we got such a busy show. What big wins? Did they pick a perfect time to snap that skid? Great Britain and Estonia, 6-3, but boy, it sets up the drama for today, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Win and you're in for the Canadians in this game against Norway. And of course, we have our behind the scenes cam bringing you all the sights and sounds as we come inside the Ice Cube. We're stepping it up, Call.
I love it.
Here we are. Welcome inside again, curling fans. We're roaming around Canada. Colleen is on the ice wearing black uniforms with red trim. You see them on the left of the screen there. First on the ice, throwing Red Rocks here today, Colleen.
Oh, they're on the end sheet. I like Red Rocks, and I like that they got on a roll. And I also will be talking to Sonia about just the strengths of Norway. But I like the fact that Norway has had their struggles at this tournament. But can I ask, in the game against Great Britain, how is the player that was injured?
Yeah, David Melrose, the second for Great Britain. A scary situation here, Call, yesterday. At the fourth end break, the team sort of were huddled around. He went over to grab his stick, and his wheel got caught on the foam. You know, the foam between the sheet and the walkway there. And he tipped off his wheelchair, fell out of his wheelchair. We had a conversation with the GB team after the game. They said David is in good spirits. He has suffered a shoulder injury, so I'll look to get an update on him. It was certainly a turning point, right? It was
Right.
Tuesday at that point. There was medical personnel all around him. He was taken off in a stretcher.
Yeah.
It was a jarring scene, about a 20-minute delay. And the Canadians, kept their composure and were able to win that game. The biggest thing, David is all right, but a scary scene for
Glad
sure.
to hear he's okay, but that was definitely a turning point in that game against Team Canada for when it happened.
Yes.
And the new player coming in, that was tough to watch, tough to see, but glad he's doing okay. But it's so pivotal now against Norway with this very simple. We always say a simple win and you're in. Oh, I wish
Winning, you're in.
Simple.
Let's
Sounds
talk to Sonia, because she's been in these
Bring her
situations
in.
before on the ice. Jam Show. Let us know where you're watching from, curling fans, as we bring Sonia Gaudet into the house.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to bring her up here.
Well, sometimes technical issues beyond our control happen, but we're just going to try again. I love this.
Maybe third time is going to be a charm.
Sonia's a little like me when it comes to this.
Third time is going to be
I like, by the way, China's win from earlier. China's win was a big one. They beat Norway, right? And it was nice to see the energy of the team responding to the crowd. So suddenly they're at 6-2, tied with Sweden, who suffered a bit of a whoops-a-daisy as well today. So it either shows some terrific parity in the field, do you think, or just upsets in the making?
Absolutely. We cannot see Sonia. Colleen, can you?
No, I cannot see Sonia. Yeah.
No, we can't. I think. Oh, now we can.
Magic. She might have just had something over her camera. Hi, Sonia.
No,
Now we see her, but we can't hear her.
Yeah, I think we need to maybe work that out, but we're going to move on from now as Sonia and Matt Cullen get ready to call this game on CBC Gem. You can watch it at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Call.
One question, because I know how much you love Last Stone Draw, and we know how much it showed during the Olympics, how pivotal that was.
Yep.
How does Canada look? Because when you look at the standings with both Canada and Slovakia with 3 losses, Canada with a game in hand, but then Korea, Latvia, USA and 4 losses still in it. So it shows you how important that game for Canada against Norway is.
Well,
how does Last Stone Draw look?
Yeah, I had a feeling you would ask about that because, of course, we saw that situation play out on the women's side of the Olympic curling. And Canada, of course, missed out on the playoffs because of their poor Last Stone Draw. We're bringing them in again. Are you there, Sonia?
Full teamwork now. Can you hear us, Sonia?
I'm here now on my phone. It wasn't working on the computer, so here I am on my phone.
Listen,
Hey,
Hi, Devin. Hi, Colleen.
Doing it live. We're doing it live, Sonia. Good to see you. We'll get you real quick because we have a jam-packed show and you have a game to call. What do you think of this Canadian team? 2 gutsy performances yesterday when they needed it most.
Absolutely. You know, they started out so strong and then struggled there for a bit, but I think we have our team back and so excited to see their communication back on track, and they're looking great out there. Big game tonight. Looking for a win, of course, and super proud of the team.
What about Norway? What do we know about them?
Well, we know that they've been curling together for a very long time. I recognize most of the players on the team. So, you know, you can never, ever underestimate Norway. Strong hitters. Jostein's been skipping the team ever since I can remember. So, you know, we have to bring our A game as always.
One last thought, Sonia, before we let you go and get ready to call this game. You have been in these moments, pressure moments, as we head towards the playoffs. How do you think this Canadian team is going to react to the pressure?
You know what? Mark and Ina and Dennis, they've been in those pressure moments too, and they know how to stay grounded. They know how to stay connected to one another as teammates. And I mean, we've seen John, he says it himself. He loves to be in that pressure situation. So I think we've got it all figured out.
Well, how do they stay grounded? Give me some specifics.
Lots of breath work. You know, they really use the breath work and lots of visualization, and really just making sure that they're saying the things to one another that they want to hear. They know what to say in the moment and what not to say. I know I've curled with Ina for so long, and I know what she doesn't want to hear. So you don't say what she doesn't want to hear.
Yeah, like don't say this. Don't be heavy.
Yeah,
I hate hearing that. Don't be heavy. Okay, thanks. Thanks for that tip.
Yeah.
Sonia, have a great call. Enjoy the game against Norway.
Thanks. You as well.
And Devin,
Awesome.
did you just hear that? Breathe. You know how sometimes you forget to breathe, Devin? No.
Listen,
Is it last stone draw time?
Last stone draw. We were just getting to last stone draw. I can tell you that Canada is third overall going into this game. So they have been superb. If it does come to a tie-breaking scenario, I think we're in the clear. We, as in the Canadian curlers, we're very objective.
Just still win and you're in.
Right.
Okay, we got to keep the show going because we know what happened in the last show where all of a sudden the lights went out on us because you have a hard count as this game is starts at the bottom of it.
You know, we said during these Paralympic shows we wanted to have critical conversations about accessibility, about
inclusion.
Paralympic movement. Exactly. And so let's get right into it. Brian Tobin hosts his own show. He loves getting into this conversation. He's fired up and he's in the house. Good to see you, sir.
How are you guys doing?
Good. Hi, Brian. Are you in Newfoundland? I mean, Tobin's such a big name there. Matter of fact, Brian Tobin's a big name in Newfoundland.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
1,000 times. Like I hear, do you have curly hair? You curl.
I am Brian with a Y, but that name follows. I went to school at Carleton, and yeah, that was even brought up many times up there. I was like, listen, I left Newfoundland to get away from being compared. And no, it just follows you.
Yeah, you can never leave where you're from. Just so you know, wherever you go, there you are, and you'll always be a Tobin. But anyhow, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Brian, listen, you and I had a bunch of back and forth. You had a lot to say about coverage of the games, coverage overall. The floor is yours. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as much as I've been trying to watch it, obviously with other work and podcasting and stuff on the go as well, I do enjoy the content. I'm actually like, I'll go with the good, and I'll go with, I don't want to obviously go overkill here either. But I like that you put that out on Twitter as like, okay, what can we do to improve? It wasn't just like, we know what we're doing. We've got this covered. Leave us alone. I like that you're saying, okay, what do you want to see? And the first thing that came to mind was, I know who Brad Gushue is. I know who Rachel Homan is because I see them all the time. I see them on TV curling. Whether I want to watch it or not, it's there because someone in this house will watch it. And I'm like, all right, you see it enough. I know the person and I know the name. So I find with the Paralympic athletes, I don't really know a lot of their backstory, but I like that that's kind of being implemented now. I like that even you include people with disability in the broadcast, which was something that I was really crucial on because I said, you can always ask an athlete, how do they prepare for things? But an athlete compared to a Paralympian might do that differently because of their situation that they're in. Like, for example, someone like me in podcasting, yes, I'm a person with disability. I have Sturge-Weber syndrome. So you can kind of see the port stain birthmark. I tend to have kind of seizure strokes. I had one when I was 12. But how I prepare for podcasting compared to someone who's completely able is different. Like, I'm sure you guys have either like a circle light or lights in the background to make you look great. Those lights don't work on me. They're not that great. But I find it hard to steer into that light. If I steer long enough, I've had interviews where I'm struggling to get through because my right arm and leg will go numb. And then I'm basically trying to continue the interview. And I'm like, we couldn't move the light. I literally had to look into the light. But in terms of the coverage, I'm actually quite impressed in terms of like getting more people involved, people with disability. It's just that obviously you only get to see these people every, say, 2 years, depending on the sport, or every 4 years. But I'd like it to be seen that you see them kind of every day or every activity. So you know a little bit more about them than just when the Olympics come up. And in fairness, I know who Penny Oleksiak is, but the same thing. It's like, I know she's, won gold, an Olympian, but I don't get to see her all the time either. So when I do get to see her, it's a treat. But at the same time, I'm like, I want more exposure, so I know who these people are, not every 2 or 3 years or 4.
Yep, absolutely.
And as you know, storytelling, which is sort of at the heart of what we all do, it requires you to bring those stories to light. Yeah. And just in the last couple of days, I did a story on para ice hockey here in Nova Scotia, and then yesterday I did goalball. And again, in sledge hockey, some people didn't even know it was an option to play here. And you're going, well, yeah, it is. Like, how do we raise that awareness? Ditto for goalball. One problem in that sport has been, as all sport, but it especially has hurt sports that are Paralympic based. They haven't had national championships in 3 years. So people are training, and you can only train for so long before you're frustrated with that. So they feel hard done by. They just qualified for the World Championships. They just found out today the World Championship for goalball is canceled, and that impacts the Paralympics in Paris. So it's just frustrating. But telling the stories, I think, and having a place to tell them and share them, whether it's here or your show, it's vital that we change the conversation.
Yeah, I find even with coming into a background like the Olympics or sports, like I've got a background in sports broadcasting. I've applied for like jobs, you name it. I've probably applied, but it's just the dynamic of sometimes, and I'm not taking anything away from athletes who want to be in broadcasting, all the power to you. But I think there just needs to be more of kind of the quality in that sense. Because if I'm going to school for 4 years and I'm coming out trying to go into a CBC and I'm being told I need more training, it's like, all right, tell me where I get more training. And then as soon as that door closes behind me, an ex-athlete walks into the door, they're on air tomorrow. And I'm like, great, but you could have done that for me as well. You could have given me that experience, or at least if you're going to allow the ex-athlete to come in and walk in, get them to do like 3 or 4 years of training as well. Like, I know it's a different dynamic compared to host, compared to color. Like, I'm not going to be on a color talking about hockey. Right. I've never been an athlete in hockey, but it's just getting the background. Is there are still things you can learn through school that like you need to apply. And that's where I find it's kind of like a double standard sometimes for people with disability, just to check a mark, just to be hired because you fit a box. And that to me just kind of, I will stay in this room. And sometimes I've done it when I was like 20 odd. I remember being on, having no money in my account and actually like physically probably crying to sleep because I was like, I have the background. I've done my internships and I still can't find my way in a door. And yet you'll find they'll say like, oh, we're not hiring right now. But like 2 days later, someone that you went to school with will be like, that's weird. I just found my way in the door. And you're like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah, you did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
The culture's got to change is basically it.
Brian, we got to move on, but you and I were going back and forth, and I said we were going to have you on that curling show. Your voice matters, what you said matters, and let's keep this going because it's an important conversation. We're so grateful for you being here. Real quick, where can we find the podcast?
Sure, absolutely. So the quickest way to find the podcast, there's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or just go to tobintonight.com, and you can find any platform that you want to find it on. It's there. Trust me.
You're going to make sure that. Outstanding, Brian. Thanks for being here.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Call, I'm looking at the time. We got 11 minutes left before first rocks fly. So let's get right into it.
Hard.
I've had a wonderful experience here at the Ice Cube. Of course, used to be a swimming pool, and Great Britain's Ellie Robinson, a star at the Paralympics. She probably wishes this was still a swimming pool. We're going to talk to her, but a powerful moment at the Paralympics in Tokyo after she competed. Listen to this speech, then we get to talk to Ellie.
I now I'm starting to well up. I can feel it now. But in the past year, people have been saying to me, like, it's okay to finish, because I was in a really, really, really low point in my life. I was struggling so much. I was seeing a psychiatrist. I was on medication. It's been one of the hardest years of my life. People have been saying, like, it's okay to finish. It's fine. You don't have to carry on. And I said, I am not finishing this way. It is not going to end this way. So I can walk away, and even though I didn't medal, I can still say that I ended on my own terms. I went out the way that I wanted to. Sorry, I know this is quite emotional, because because there have been so many times when I remember saying, if I have to crawl to the block on my hands and knees, I will do it. And I'm just so proud of myself for getting this far, because I've been in agony this whole year, and this is a story of triumph. This is not a story of defeat. I am so proud of myself for getting this far, and this is just showing people that what threatens to weaken you will not conquer you. You will overcome it, and you will end on your own terms. You are in control all the time, and I proved today that I am in control of when I finish. I am not being told.
Woo! That was awesome.
Oh, thank you. And thanks for virtually having me as well.
Oh, so happy to. So happy. I mean, that was so inspiring. The pressure. How are you now, by the way?
Oh, I'm really loving life, to be honest. Since I've finished swimming, it's quite nice. I haven't looked back, and I'm just really enjoying this next chapter of my life. So
Awesome.
Pretty good.
And I can tell you, I have a front row seat to Ellie in action here, and she's absolutely smashing it. Ellie, tell us what Channel 4 is doing, because what you're doing has set a new standard in broadcast.
Well, yeah, I guess ever since London 2012, we've been able to cover every single Paralympic Games. And for this Games here in Beijing, our presenting team is an all-disabled presenting team, which I think is pretty cool. Although I'll say I didn't actually realize that when I saw the list. When I saw my other presenters, it didn't even click that they were all disabled. I just like, wow, what a credible list of
How
people.
awesome is that?
Talented bunch. And then they told me, and I was like, oh yeah, they are all disabled.
And that is so awesome, isn't it? Where you were actually looking at the list and going, oh, and you didn't even think about it. You just looked at them as your equals and broadcasting, partners.
Yeah, it was like, wow, how do I match these guys? But no, I think it's really good that we're looking at, well, I say myself, I'm looking at like the intrinsic value first, and I'm noticing the talent that these people have before their kind of anatomical makeup. It's like, oh, it's quite nice actually.
Amen.
Ellie, you are a superstar swimmer. You've retired. Congratulations on that. You've made a seamless transition to the broadcasting game. You and I were smack talking when Canada beat Great Britain yesterday. You've quite taken to curling. What do you think of the wheelchair curling?
It's so good. I remember watching the curling in the Olympics and then actually being able to sit in the stadium and watch it there. One, you can feel so like tense. You get so kind of anxious watching it, but at the same time, as soon as it starts to go, like as soon as they push the stone or the rock, I know it's different in Canada, down the ice, it's so therapeutic. So I've never felt so stressed and so kind of relaxed at the same time.
Then you haven't sat next to Devin long enough, because he stays stressed almost for the entire game. Tell me about the Paralympics, though, and a special place in your heart, but how do we raise the bar for it other than every 4-year quadrennial?
I honestly think that it's getting to know the athletes, getting to know the people, because I think the athletes are what draws viewers into any sport. I think if you take one example, like I'm a huge fan of F1, and recently they've had a Netflix show, you get to know the drivers behind the scenes, and loads of people have been drawn in just by getting to know the characters and the athletes. And I think if we can do a similar thing in Paralympic sport, then that's really what's gonna, like, you come for the people, you stay for the sport, the rivalries, the competition. And I mean, that's just my opinion, but
no, it's so true.
Yeah, absolutely. Ellie, any last thoughts as we move on to the next guest? Any last thoughts about your experience here in Beijing and what we should look forward to the rest of the way? I think you're coming back to the curling because you're hooked now.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm just happy to see Canada doing well in the curling. Unfortunately, GB haven't had the best games, but I'm jumping on the back of Canada now.
All right, all aboard.
Listen, do you ever go swim for fun now, or after you've got all those medals, do you just kind of leave them there and never go to the pool again? Because
I've not swum in ages. I really should. I need to get some exercise in.
Especially you need exercise when you're in the closed loop of Beijing. That's what I found. I was just always on a bus or sitting at curling. So
yeah, one of our producers has just been trying to book in the gym, and each day it's like, no, I've missed that slot, missed that, and it's just bless him.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Well, stay away from the avocado sea salt ice cream at the curling venue. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds intriguing.
We haven't found that yet. Ellie, wonderful to see you. We'll see you back here. Thank you so much for making time for us.
I'm going to play that speech over and over again. That just really hit the heart, because as a longtime curler, sometimes I judged myself solely on wins and losses, and that valued my self-worth. So the pressure to kind of win was omnipresent. So that resonated. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
nice to have you with us.
Thank you, Ellie. All right, Call. Last stone draws. Norway's throwing right now.
Okay.
We got to get to Colin. So what I think we're going to do, because you went wheelchair curling, we want to see that. What I think we'll do, we'll bring Colin in right now. And then to close the show, because I got to get out of here, we'll play your wheelchair curling video. Colin.
Great idea. We're just making it up as we go along, Colin. Well, hi, how are you? Oh, nice. Go Canada. How are you? What else do you want? And Manitoba. Wow. Personality there. How are you? Because we know you're missing the Brier because you had a little run-in with the C word.
Yeah, you know what? I'm doing pretty great right now. My team went out there and battled really hard and won a huge game today against an incredible opponent, Brad Jacobs, and you know, they battled hard. I knew how much you know, they needed that, and they went out there and did it. And I'm just really proud of the guys. I'm proud of the guys around who supported Colton for coming and stepping in for me, Kyle, Rob, everything, the whole team. But beyond that, I really wanted to just say what a speech. What an interview. Both interviews. Ellie, incredible. Brian, your perspective is amazing, and thank you, Devin and Colleen, for putting this out there. It's so important. Sonia, thank you so much. But what I wanted to just reach out quick about the Paralympics and about how much of a difference it really made. I was fortunate enough to Patrick McDonald from the US. He went to Paralympics. He took me wheelchair curling, taught me how to do it at a high level. It was amazing how it's so helpful. Watching Rising Phoenix was absolutely transformative for me as an able-bodied athlete, watching Paralympians where they came from. It's unbelievable, the stories. Able-bodied curling, able-bodied athletics we put them up on this big pedestal,
right?
But the stories aren't as much in our able-bodied sports. The stories are here. The Paralympics are the best time for me. I enjoy it and learning about the athletes, and we do need to elevate it and speak more. So
well, one frustrating thing I was talking to Devin before the show, Colin, was why is the Brier on during the Paralympics? I mean, I don't get it. We know when the Olympics and the Paralympics are every 4 years, it's on the calendar. And I think it's a shame that we aren't totally elevating in every way, shape, or form. They were making curling fans choose between the Brier and the Paralympics.
Right.
I don't like that. That makes me upset.
This will help us. What you guys are doing, what everybody who came on the show is doing, this is helping. Not able-bodied sports. This is sports benefit. I'm so grateful for it. So thank you guys. Thank all the athletes for doing this. This is
Colin, how about the level of curling? I mean, I don't know if you saw the highlight reel off the start, but some of these shots are just next level. I mean, the precision. John Thurston was on fire. Like, he had a double run back yesterday, draw weight, no sweeping.
No sweeping.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're using sweeping to a different level now than we've ever seen, and you got to throw it close, and you have to manage it perfect, and that's what elite is. This is the opposite. You have to throw it perfect. You have to manage before you let it go, and it's just amazing. I see this is going on, so I'll shorten myself up here.
We can have you on another time too, because look what's starting for Devin.
Things are starting to rock in here, guys, so I can barely hear you as we get ready for this big game, Canada and Norway. Take it away. Keep going. Keep going.
Well, Devin, you go get organized for the game, because Colin, I know when you tried wheelchair curling, what was the hard thing for you? We're getting ready to close the show, but what was the hardest thing for you?
Getting on the ice.
Going down that ramp.
Yeah, I spent the whole time being in the club with Patrick, getting his advice about how am I going to get from the vehicle onto the ice? Am I changing before? Am I all of these things that we might not think about? And it was fantastic. The easiest part was Patrick telling me what to do, and I'll find the video because it's hilarious. My first rock ever, he set me up perfectly and told me what to throw in Phoenix at the Coyotes Curling Club, and we pinned it.
Yeah, nice.
Unreal.
Because I did not. Mine was not so unreal. We're going to see it in a second. Mine was wide and a hog. And then I kind of got the weight down, but never got the line down. And I didn't spend enough time at it. But you're right. The skill level of these athletes is just amazing. But tell me, Colin, how is it for you? Because you are you missing the Brier? Is this hard for you?
Yes, I'm at peace with it. So I think that was the biggest thing. I was ready. This was a decision I needed to make, and my teammates supported me and allowed me to. So I don't have regrets. I would love to be there, love to help them, but they're doing just fine. They've got they've got some of the best young players in the world helping them. They know what to do. So I'm grateful to have the opportunity to, watch from home.
Right. And can I tell you about those Team Canada Olympic jackets? How great do those look?
Yes, I am so happy to see this. All of the Indigenous flair is behind them, ready to go. Team Canada, let's go.
It is amazing. Well, let's say go Canada, go for that, because it's a big game for them against Norway. We've lost Devin because those lights have to go off at the bottom of the clock because the game against Norway is starting. We know you all want to watch it too. But before we say goodbye, well, we are saying goodbye, but here's the shot of me learning how to do a little bit of chair curling earlier.
All right, so this is my normal delivery, and the adjustment of how I'm usually sliding and figuring out my draw weight is all because of what goes on in my legs. But adjusting to a wheelchair, it's a whole other skill. Ooh, all right, so far so good. All right, cooling our wheels. This is called cooling your wheels. Same way you cool down the spot.
It's called a shock stabilizer.
Okay.
Is that device? It used to be called a holy handle.
And it's called the Holy Beat Bar. What's my biggest difference I got to think about? Because I'm used to using my legs as my driver for weight.
So you got to make sure your body momentum's coming forward.
Okay.
Your upper body.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of do this without falling out of the chair.
You got to make sure that you reach right out.
Okay.
For your follow through.
Sure.
And extend. That way the rock will keep going. So you're going to throw an in-turn.
I'm throwing an in-turn?
Maybe you'll be better at an in-turn.
Maybe I will. All right. So that one was too heavy by a lot. I'm wide again, but the weight's better.
The weight's better.
I like the line.
I think the weight's up.
Oh! You know the challenge right now? Getting up this ramp. Let's see if
you stand behind her in case she pops up.
Yep. You needed manpower there.
All right. Up. In case she pops up. Yeah, I was going to pop up. I nearly lost it twice. So you can see, Colin, I might have a future as an intern player, even though I was wide on everything. But it took a lot more brain power for me to figure out what was going on, and a lot more work. Practice. That's all I got to do, right?
Absolutely.
And they encourage everybody. By the way, that team, Lockie Ruff's team, they go to the national championship. That's been canceled the last number of years, so that's crushing for them. They actually play Friday night. Devin's back. They actually play in a Friday night league at the Lakeshore Curling Club in just regular league play, in addition to wheelchair curling. So totally inclusive. And the people who are playing them, it's not a problem. They're like, right, they're in a chair. Okay, they can't sweep. That's our advantage. But I love the inclusivity of it. And Lockie says, for anybody who wants to try wheelchair curling, no matter where you are in Canada, check with the club. Not all of them have accessibility. Some of them are too old. Most of them do. So give it a try. They're trying to get people out.
We played in a World Curling Tour event against Patrick McDonald, and he won hammer against us and draw the button. It was an intense game. It was amazing, and one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. Yeah, we can do it together, so I'm pretty excited.
Nice. Devin, you're back. Tell us.
Well, I've lost my beauty light because, as you know, we don't want any lights in the eyes of the curlers behind me. But the game has just started. You can go to cbcsports.ca, watch it live, or CBC Gem. Canada starts without hammer, throwing red rocks. We always love when Canada is throwing the red rocks, but we are underway. This must-win game, not must-win. We don't want to get in that last stone draw tie-breaking scenario, though, right? Win, and your win, controlling your own destiny. It's simple today, guys.
So you want, okay. Everything's crossed. Okay.
So buckle up. I'm going.
Colin, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Get your
Go Canada.
jacket back on.
Absolutely. Thank you guys
All right,
so much.
Places, people, roll call. Let's rock and roll. Call.
Okay.
Awesome.
See you, Devin, and thanks, producer Soph.